This trip starts along the Colorado River near Parker, Arizona, and heads north across more than 280 miles of Mojave Desert trails traversing eastern California and Nevada. Over the next few days, we'll work through volcanic canyons, old mining country, historic desert routes, and camps along the river. On paper, it looked like a straightforward crossing, but once we got onto the trail, the trip started changing shape. This is a run across the Mojave, and like most trips out here, the scenery is only part of the story.
James?
That was Zaire, Africa.
This is the Zaire, Africa version of a heat shield.
Zaire, Africa heat
So
shield.
all of this is melted, right? All that melted away.
Mm-hmm.
This is all melted. Battery cell melted. Holy shit. All right, let's figure this out.
Look, here.
In a lot of ways, this is a great place to start because it really just reinforces the importance of water in the Southwest. We're going from kind of the end of civilization in some ways, and we're going to start exploring the Mojave Trail. We're going to take a look at Dynamite Canyon, a lot of the inlets, all towards the Colorado River here, towards Lake Havasu and Parker. So it's going to be a great one, so hang out. So we're on Hightower Trail. We're about an hour and a half in from the Whipple Cave on Dynamite Trail. Wes had a slow leak, it looks like, on his tire, maybe a fast leak, we'll see in a second. And we're gonna pull out a patch kit and see how many patches it takes to fix it without taking it off. So let's check it out.
Go forward. Yeah, go forward. Go forward. I found it. Keep. A little more. All right, stop. Found it. Let me go get my kit. I know. That's why it's worried about it. Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna need more plugs. Okay. Most I've put in is 6.
Right. When you had like the flower on the side.
Oh, it stopped.
Jesus.
Stop leaking. So basically what we do is you keep looking for air bubbles. You got a little bit of air bubbles coming on each side. So because this is a long gash, it's really difficult to plug. But I'm not going to take a spare tire off unless it's like absolute last resort, because your spare tire is your I'm going to get home tire, not, trail tire. So
scared of people. Well in the Heritage Trail now. We are off the
the main area. We're kind of due west of Lake Havasu, Arizona. We're well into the Mojave on a heritage trail that's going to eventually go to Needles. We won't take it that far, but this is just excellent desert running. It's straight as an arrow, but a lot of whoops in there, so it's a lot of fun. Certainly testing out the bump stops today. We had a lunch break at an old well, and there was an Indian hieroglyphics area that we took a look at, so I'll throw some footage up on that. But it was quite something. It was a big obelisk, kind of maroon volcanic thing just sitting out of the middle of a wash, and had some hieroglyphics in there. So always fun to look at that stuff. It's a neat afternoon. It's about 3:30 still, so we've got probably a good 2 more hours of exploring. We're gonna find somewhere on the river tonight, hopefully at a camp. I've probably been showing last 2 hours or so has been on the same exact boring ass Powerline road. We are pushing to make it to a vine area for to camp tonight, so we're gonna see how that goes. We just passed the I-40. We're still going straight north, and we are, I would say, probably like 10 miles west of the Colorado River and Lake Havasu area. So we're still pushing north, and then tomorrow we'll keep exploring more towards Searchlight, Nevada, south of Vegas. But this is the situation. We're just pushing straight on this boring, straight Powerline road with lots and lots of washouts. So I will probably getting new bump stops after today. It's been bone jarring to say the least. So interesting times for sure. We just crossed into Goffs, Nevada. Goffs was a small schoolhouse, so kind of a one-horse town. That's a bunch of mining paraphernalia floating around. We got there a little bit after 5:30, so they were closed, but there's definitely a lot to look at there on the mining side of things. We are pushing northeast now towards the Mojave Preserve. We're on this sandy track, nice narrow sandy track going through some just real nice rough desert. We're hoping to get to the mine for camp, gosh, probably in a half hour or so. It'll be pushing sunset, if not dark by then. So we'll see how it gets there when we get there. But this is a really cool sandy, narrow track here to power through. All this is just old mining country, Indian trails, you name it, it's all out here. There's a lot of history.
It's rattlesnake season, so that's not something we play with. That was a baby, so you get bit by one of them, you're fucked.
Well, good morning. This is day 2 of our trip. We're camped at the Leiser mine. Leiser mine was what you'll call kind of a scrappy silver mine with a little bit of copper and gold mixed in for good measure. We camped towards more of the larger part of the structures. It was a large concrete area with some stanchions that really probably had some ore processing things. Lots of really interesting rebar made of bolts and rocks and all this stuff. So kind of a cool place to camp, really kept the wind down and made for just a really epic, really intentional campsite given the history around here. you really think about all the different mining that has come through here, the different cultures that have come through here, made their way, whether it's the Indian trails, the settlers, the pioneers, and the miners. So we're gonna keep pushing today. We're gonna hit Fort Piute on the Mojave Road, as well as hit up some of the other attractions around here, if you will. And hopefully we'll camp at the Cove tonight, so we'll see.
This was like pretty hopping place.
So we're here at Piute Fort. This is part of one of a number of forts that are on the Mojave Trail between really Utah and California in some ways. This one in particular, you'll see, was a guard of a point of not only sneak attacks, but also a well. So when you had the Pony Express riders and pioneers and such going across, they had the wagon trains presumably, and the wells were protected by the army at the time. This was kind of abandoned and used for 2 or 3 years, 1865 to 67, 68, I believe. Kind of post-Civil War. And ironically, Buffalo soldiers, the African-American army soldiers, were the main ones running the fort here. And presumably it ended when the Pony Express ended, when the Continental Railroad happened. So really interesting place. You've got a number of different structures around here, different ages, some corrals coming up the road off the Mojave Road, but just a really fascinating place with the foundations that you can see over here. Rugged stuff, some volcanic, some sedimentary rock. See, way out in the distance here, we've got the road coming in, part of the Mojave Road. We came in off the Powerline. We're probably 3 or 4 miles off the Powerline Road, but the Mojave Road is, if you haven't done it, it's definitely a pretty awesome trip. I don't know if you can camp here. There's a good parking area, if you will, here at Fort Piute. When you're doing Mojave Road, you've got to be prepared for a couple things. One, you will get some pretty aggressive use of any sort of shocks, springs, leaves, whatever you've got going on. Everything will be exercised. If there's any problems or cracks or what have you, this will surface them. In the case of my Gladiator, the first time I went, the pinch welds on the frame to the rear axle actually came off of the sway bar. And we've had people on our team that have had fractured springs. You name it, it'll crack or get loosened on this. So obviously, you know, if you're doing an annual look at your Jeep or vehicle, you know, check those bolts, make sure they're torqued down. But I think in general, this just really emphasizes, like, stock four-wheel drives will do a lot of stuff. That doesn't mean they won't have a little bit of deficiencies, but I think I'm into the ethos of, you know, if it breaks, fix it with something stronger, but just keep monitoring and try not to, you know, hit anything important underneath. You know, obviously skid plates are great. I don't even have that many skid plates on mine, but I think there's a lot of impact to that. So I think all that to be said, you just be prepared for that mentally, that you're going to have a little bit of probably homework to do when you get home. But it's a great trail that really builds the confidence in your rig. It's not terribly challenging, but there's some really great scenic spots, and you know, you'll have a great time. But just be prepared for that. We're across from Old Government Road, where it kind of intersects with Mojave Road here and there, and then cross I-40 again. So we're now descending on Old Government Road or Mojave Road towards Bullhead City. So we're going through some really interesting spines. The desert's giving way to a little bit more of the rockiness that's going towards the Colorado River. So this will be a whole different change of scenery in some ways. A lot of whoops, a lot of sandy conditions going down. as the desert transitions to more of the rockiness towards the Colorado steppe and where the Colorado River is. So we'll be gassing up in Bullhead City. We're all about at a little bit over a quarter tank or so. But I tell you what, you just get the shittiest mileage out here. So I think we're probably all at 89 miles an hour. So after a day or so on the trail, we had a nice little respite in Bullhead City. Got some fuel. I think we're about 130, 140 miles in on the trail so far. We're gonna break from Bullhead City and we're gonna continue north in the Mojave towards Mojave Lake and visit Telephone Cove. There's a couple of trails and some to-dos and stuff on the way there. But after a couple of days in the trail, it doesn't hurt to refresh and enjoy some plumbing. So we'll be at the Mojave and get back at it. After Telephone Cove, we went up Nevada 163 a few miles and we turned off at the Grapevine Canyon. Grapevine Canyon is a petroglyph site, ancient ruins of some flavor of Supai civilization. This is the same civilization that was covering from here, basically all the way down the Colorado to where the Maricopa Indians are, and almost west of Phoenix and Gila Bend. So pretty big range there. So this is one of their sites. We're gonna hike up the wash here and check out some of the petroglyphs. Neat stuff.
That little natural kind of caved out area. I bet they could live there. Yeah. Kind of weird how that is, huh?
We're on Christmas Tree Canyon. I think it's Christmas Canyon, something like that. On our way towards the river, and there's a couple of mines and on trails off-road that we want to take a look at. This is the Jack Draw mine, and I think over there is the potential mine. Hey Wes, wave Wesley. Hey Wes.
It's a neat area.
It is.
I like it.
Well, we made it. We are at 9 Mile Cove. This is the second or third cove we tried out today. Wes's, no, not Wes, Mario's Jeep was only caught on fire twice while we were charging it. And something having to do with the catalytic converter and wiring and oil, and it's a mess. So more to come there. It might be an adventure tomorrow, but this is a hell of a campsite right on the water. What you think?
Well, this is pretty nice here. I like this.
It is badass.
I put the wood in, and motherfucker, I got lighter fluid.
Really?
Yeah, he fucking ran outside. He started sweating. He ran outside.